to inspire every room I walk into. So wherever I am, I want to walk into the room and inspire people.
Welcome to Conversations with Mann. This is the show where we bridge the gaps one story at a time, and today I have my friend who I have known for quite some time here on the couch with me, the quintessential Renaissance woman, the cancer survivor, and the student of life, Candice Waterman.
All right, Candice. Hi, Kai. I'm excited to be here with you.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so excited to have you here. I've been on 25 since you and I spoke. I'm just amazed at your whole entire life. And so I really want to just get into it, to be honest with you. I want to get into it. You and I have known each other since 1997.
Oh, yeah.
I moved here to Detroit, and you saw this beautiful face.
I did. I said, she's going to be my BFF.
and we have been for quite some time.
Yeah.
But I want to really talk about your life. I want our viewers to hear the amazing story that is your life. I have watched you transform. I have watched you transfigure. I've watched you reinvent yourself. I've watched you do everything that the quintessential woman and Renaissance woman has done throughout time. And I want to know, how in the world did you do it?
Wow, that's a loaded question. It is a very loaded question. But if I have to say anything, it would be this one thing, and then absolutely get into sort of the story behind it. And that is, the older I get, sometimes I don't know what I want, but I can tell you every day that I wake up what I don't want. So that makes my path easier. And to someone, it may look like I have it all together. I don't. I have it all together about what I don't want. But some days, again, I don't know what I do want. As I tease my friends, I say, I wake up some days and I'm a rock star. The other days, I am looking for my glasses while they're on my face. So that is exactly the sort of space that I am in right now, and don't take myself too serious. I know where my blessings flow, and being centered around that is so important. I think the life lessons that I've had, I'm truly starting to really understand them for what they are and for where they've put me at this place in my life. Yeah,
that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I remember when I first met you, and I thought, she is going to be such an amazing force. Like, I could feel it when I was in your presence. And I think that there has been one person that has really been the motivation behind everything you do, your grandmother.
My mama?
Your mama.
Yes.
Talk to us about her and in your life when you were younger.
You know, it's very interesting. I just did a talk about 2 months ago at a business conference, which I speak at a lot of business conferences, but I never talk about my personal and how it shaped me into the leader that I am today. And so during that talk, I really talked about, one, being raised by my great-grandmother, in essence, right? My mother and father died when I was very young. And so just having those nuggets of wisdom that she taught me, and taught me about who I am, right? So there were 60 years difference between the two of us, right? So if you can imagine being raised by someone who was 60 years your senior, their thought process, as a child, like all children, you want to go spend the night at my friends' houses and go hang out there. And she's like, yeah, no, not happening. And I'm like, why can't I spend the night at Diane's house? No, they can come over here, but I don't know about them. You're not going down there. And it was very interesting because my friends at the same time said, why is your mom so strict? And so I found that was my first life lesson in understanding how to manage upstream and downstream, right? So managing upstream, meaning allowing her to have to understand the business case behind me being young and what young people did at that time, and then managing downstream to allow my friends to understand from where she came from, right? They didn't understand that old school thought process. And so it really did hit me recently that was my first leadership lesson.
Wow.
It's just an aha moment. So now, as you get into any situation, when you're in the middle, you're going to have to manage upstream and downstream, right? So whether you are the president of somewhere and you have to manage your board of directors, plus manage your team, that's upstream and downstream. Whether you are just a team member on the team, there's always someone above you and below you.
Right.
So having to and understanding how to do that and navigate that space is super important. And that is one thing that my mama taught me, right? At that time that I didn't even know at, 7, 8, 9 years old, that's what I was going to do.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You have been in a leadership role, as you say, since you were very young.
I have, yeah.
You have been the type of woman who have brought other women together, and you have this way of this bond that you bring with other women. And I always thought that was the greatest thing. And why was it, do you believe, that's so important for other women to support and love on one another?
You know what? I just think there's nothing stronger than a tribe of women helping each other, right? Women are very, I think there's a misnomer. We can be very catty, and probably we can, but when we strip ourselves, right, of the ego, as I say, big M, little e, right? Big M is mission. I'm mission driven. E is the ego. So when I keep my eye on the mission and decrease the eye on my ego and check it at whatever door I'm at, it allows me to come in the door authentically. Because all of us have stuff. When I walk in the room, it's 50 years of baggage walking in behind me. So who am I to think that I'm better than anyone in that room? I might be in a different or better position than they are at that point in my life, but it's cyclical. So somebody, again, it's going to be over me. But who am I not to, as I move forward, reach back and grab someone? Mm-hmm. And as I'm moving, look to someone else who can teach me.
Right.
So because of that, I think that having strong relationships, particularly with women, has always been very important. And as I say, it came from the women who raised me. My father died when I was young. My grandfather died. So I didn't have this amazing male figure in my life. The amazing figures in my life were women. Getting up, doing it every day, being who they are, being authentic with who they were. So it just was, I think, a natural inclination for me to feel the same way.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I believe myself to be blessed to have been a part of your world. I think that looking to you has been amazing for me, because it has allowed me to see further than my eyesight has ever gone. And so being able to see you in that light and see you move and see you transform and see you just reinvent yourself over and over and over again, it has been such a powerful thing for me to witness from afar.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I think the world of you. And so that means a lot, because you never know who's looking at you as you're just trying to go through the day to day and figure your life out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can imagine. But one thing that I really look forward to is seeing where you are in the next 10 years. And what is it that you believe that your next 5 to 10 years may be looking like for you?
Ooh. Wow, 5 to 10 years. First and foremost, I aspire to inspire every room I walk into. So wherever I am, I want to walk into the room and inspire people, right? I hope I'm doing that on the beach with some sand and blue water at some point, and where I am inspiring folks to live their best life right at that particular moment. But I don't know. I imagine that I would be in some leadership role, in some position where I am helping other people, because I don't know how not to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't know how not to touch lives, right? I am and have been in a real space of centering and mindfulness. We live in I want to say crazy world, but interesting lifetime right now, right? And so I think with the white noise that's going on around you, you have to be able to center yourself. So if I can allow myself to teach others or be an example of doing that, still while dealing with day-to-day life, standing up for things that you think are right, sitting down when you know it's right? Because there's a time to stand up and sit down. I think that I will just be doing that, right? Inspiring people to live the best of who they are. Someone asked me at 33, I can distinctly remember, I wasn't married, I was, clearly had a great position where I was, and they said, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you gotten married yet? Why don't you have kids? And I'm like, why does that have to define me?
Right.
Why can't I be the best of who I am as this single woman making it happen every day? And so since that time, it has really been a sort of, I guess, charge for me to help people to live their best life and inspire them to do that, regardless if they have a significant other, a child, or whatever that is, whatever that label is on them, right? So I hope in 5 or 10 years that's what I'm doing.
Right.
Still help inspiring people to be the best of who they are.
Cool. I know that as you were speaking about a little bit, we'll kind of slide into the single revolution that you have really been talking about. And a lot of people don't understand how important it is, even when you're single, to continue to move on in your space that you're supposed to carry.
Absolutely.
A lot of people believe that if they don't have a mate or if they don't have something else going on in their lives, that what they do is not important. How do we begin to change people's minds? How do you change people's minds with respect to that?
First and foremost, I talk to people and say, do you want a half person or a whole person, right?
Oh, wow.
So some people are like, oh, my better half. Well, I don't want half of anything, to be honest with you. I want my better whole, right? So as I'm working on my whole self, right, and being the best of who I am, I think that's what you're doing when you're not necessarily looking for a mate, but waiting for a mate, right? Mm-hmm. If I think, at 33, when someone said that to me about why am I not married, if I would have gotten married back then, I absolutely would be divorced. I know it, because I didn't even know who I was at that time, right? As you said, the transformations that you make and how you grow in your outside influences. So you have to be your whole self. Buy your house by yourself. Purchase your home, right? Go on a dream vacation. There's so many dreams, and your dreams that be so vast that there's more than enough to do on your own and with a special person. And guess what? With your girlfriends too.
Right.
Or your guy friends, whatever that, because single guys, I think single guys do it much better than single girls. They live their lives. They don't care. They're going to go on their golf trips. They're going to go on their whatever trips they're going on. And they're having a great time. Where women tend to, right? I think they're getting a little bit better now. Sit back and like, oh, I'm going to wait. No, I'm not going to purchase my home. No, I'm not going to do this until I have a mate and until I get married. And so I'm like, break that glass ceiling. Break it.
Right.
Why? So when that mate comes, then it's two wholes coming together, and I think that's much more powerful, right? As opposed to two halves coming together, and I still have my junk to work on that I have not been paying attention to, and he still has his junk to work on, or she still has it. No. Get yourself together while you're single, so you can have a good person.
Wow. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break on that note.
Okay.
This is the Conversations with Kai Mann show. I'm your host, Kai Mann, and this is the show where we bridge the gaps. One story at a time. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Focus One Entertainment is Detroit's premier entertainment company. But we're not just an entertainment company. We are your #1 multimedia resource. Focus One has combined years of talent and experience in order to bring you what you're looking for in a video, a polished professional product. F1 Entertainment specializes in filming workshops, seminars, and corporate presentations. More and more businesses are utilizing video production services to create web virtuals, online marketing content, and promotional and corporate training videos. Your company can do the same with Focus One Entertainment. Contact Focus One Entertainment at 313-444-3638 or visit us on the web at www.focusoneенtertainment.com.
And we are back. This is the Conversations with Kai Mann show. I'm your host, Kai Mann, and this is the show where we bridge the gaps one story at a time. And today we are talking with my amazing friend, the one that I love so much, Candace Waterman, and I know you guys are going to love her too. Your story is so amazing. At one point, you were going through your battle with cancer. And to see you, one would not know that. How did you go through that whole illness and to come out on the other side? I would like to say unscathed, because you look like you're unscathed.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. It is not unscathed. However, I say I was totally crazy. I was totally crazy. I can remember the day I found the lump myself. Was working in the doctor's office and in the medical space. So I was working in the best space to have something horrible happen to me, right? So go to the doctor, told my doctor, oh, I found a lump, but I don't think it's anything. He's like, oh, just go get it checked out and we'll see what happens, to get an ultrasound. And they wanted to, after the ultrasound, they wanted to do all these other procedures. I'm like, and I can remember the doctor's name. I'm like, Dr. Chan, I think you're being a little overzealous because it's me. And he's like, no, I think we need to do this. I said, well, I'm not having that today. I'm going to talk back to Doc and we'll figure this out later. So I talked to my primary doctor and he said, you know what, let's just take it out. I said, well, that's good. He said, then you don't have to worry about it anymore. I said, awesome, let's do it. So we did that, scheduled this procedure. He called me the same night. Normally pathology takes 3 or 4 days to come back. And he called me and said, are you sitting down? And it was about 8 at night. I said, yeah, I'm sitting down. What's going on? I'm thinking he's going to talk to me about one of our patients, not Candace now being the patient. And he said, your pathology found something. I said, found something like what? Not thinking it was the C word, right? And he said, it's cancer. I said, okay, am I going to die? He said, no, Ken, you're not going to die. I said, then good. Then what are we going to do? I was the 3rd generation of women who had breast cancer in my family. My great-grandmother had it, and my grandmother had breast cancer, but she died at 52. So in the back of my mind, at that time I was 37 years old. So in the back of my mind, I was thinking, oh, I just need to make it to 52 years old, right? So, fast forward, I had an appointment with the surgeon, and I took my Bible. I write a contract with myself every year, of what my goals are, financially, personally, professionally, all that. And so I put the Bible on his desk, and he said, well, what's that? I said, it's my Bible with my goals. Open it up. So he opened it up. I said, did you read it? He said, yeah, this is really, I like this concept. I said, do you see get cancer on there? He said, no, Candace. I said, then I need it gone. Wow. I said, yeah. I said, and as an avid golfer, I said, I have a tee time at Pinehurst, one of the top golf courses in the country, in just another month, I need to keep my appointment with my golf tee time. He said, okay, this is what we're going to do. This was a Tuesday. If you have surgery on Thursday, I promise you I will have you well enough so you can play golf, and then you promise me that you're going to start chemo when you get back. I said, now play golf to you and play golf to me is 2 different things, doctor. You mean I can have a full swing and have a good time, or do you mean that I can only go out there and putz around? He said, nope, full swing, good time. I said, good, let's do it. And that started my sort of journey, if you will. Mm-hmm. So 2 surgeries later, 6 months of chemo, about 5 months of radiation, so a full year of treatment. And here I am. During the course of that time, I buried my mom 3 days before my last radiation treatment. And I think that was what made me get through it. I had no time to worry about Candace and having cancer because I had to take care of my mother. Remember, it's 60 years difference.
Right.
So I'm 37. At that point, she's 97 years old. So she was having a problem with congestive heart failure. I scheduled, this is how my strategic mind is. I scheduled chemo on Thursdays so I could go half a day to work and then go get my chemo. I could still come to work on Fridays. It typically makes you sick. So in my mind, I'll be sick on Saturday. I'll feel better on Sunday and I can be back at work on Monday. So that was how my mind worked, right? So this is exactly what I did. But it started happening on Mondays. My mother would get sick. So every Monday, after my chemo on Thursday, I had to be in the hospital with her. And she was older, so I wasn't leaving her alone. So I just spent the night in the hospital, showered there, and went to work on Monday. And then went back to pick her up, or either went back to stay with her. So that, during the course of that, it taught me, one, I am the quintessential compartmentalization person. 50 things can happen. I'll put it in my mind, prioritize, and then unpack it when I need to. But it also taught me a type of strength and resilience that I didn't know that I had. And love. I would imagine it's the kind of love a mother has for a child. But this was the kind of love the child has for a mother. And knowing that my mom, even at the end of her life, was the most important thing that was happening in my life at that time. And at that time, I was working at the hospital, running, along with my business partner, a very successful real estate company, and taking care of my mom and taking care of my cancer.
Wow.
So it also taught me how to be present in the moment. Because when I was at the hospital, if I had clients, guess what? I'm sorry. I needed to be present in the moment with my mom. But at the same time, when I had to deal with my clients or deal with work, I was present in the moment there. So it really did teach me compartmentalization, prioritizing, and being present in the moment. And so now at 51, I'm like, okay, I had cancer, it didn't have me.
Right. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I've always liked your spirit and how you saw things. And you were always very positive. So it was something that always helped me to be positive. And so knowing that, during that time, how you really thought your way through that, and how you compartmentalized your life in such a way that allowed you to go through it. Since then, what has been, during that time, what has been the most important thing that you've gotten from that?
Oh, I think it is, sounds cliche, but don't sweat the small stuff. I can, and for a while, right, I can think, oh yeah, that's how I'm going to feel. And then I sweat the small stuff because I'm normal and human. And then I recalibrate myself and say, okay, Candace, what are you doing, really, right? And so while I am worried about, some meeting or some project, there's somebody who has to worry about, guess what, they lost everything they had in the flood last week.
Sure.
Right? So thinking outside of myself and outside of what I call my kitchen table, right? So I think all of us think about our kitchen table. What's on our plate?
Right.
The plate sits on the table. So now what's on our table? So we have friends that are sitting at that table with us and family members, and so that's what we're worried about. But we forget the table is in a room. The room is in a house. The house is in a neighborhood. Right? And so when you think about it from that sort of expansive perspective, you can't just be so introspective all the time.
Right.
You have to think about other people.
Right.
And always, every decision has a 360 view for me. Some people say, oh, I have tunnel vision. I try not to, because if I have tunnel, I can't see anything that's going on the sides and the back.
That's true.
So I may be focused and have the eye of the tiger on a project, but I don't ever want to have tunnel vision.
Right.
Just don't.
Wow.
That's
good
just
stuff.
don't. I sounded like a guy. But I'm not. Today, I'm in rock star status. Tomorrow, remember I told you, I don't look for my glasses while I have them on. I absolutely will.
I hear that. Your humor has always been just delightful to me. It has continue to make me just love you so much because of it.
I love you back.
You have gone through so much, like, and for you to have the mentality that you do, are there times that, you know, things can ultimately break you?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
And what would be something that can ultimately do that?
I am very hard on myself, right? I think I am my own worst critic. But also, so that's one thing that can break you, right? Is thinking that you should be at a certain place or certain stage of your life, or I should have handled that whatever that is, right, in a different manner. And then sometimes, believe it or not, I let people break me, because you forget, right? That's, as I said earlier, right? Big M, little e, mission versus ego. Sometimes it can, you know, become little m, big E, because an ego, not in a negative way, but ego like, oh, my ego is on the line, or my reputation is on the line, so I want to do a good thing, a good job on this thing. And so you allow people to just wear you down and browbeat you. And I would have to say that is the one thing that sometimes that I'll allow to happen, like outside forces. And then I have to step back and think and know who I am, that regardless of their craziness, I don't have to react to it. I need to bring them into my space, right? So if I walk into chaos, you calm the chaos, not become a part of the chaos.
Right.
And so, yeah, I get broken. I get broken. When I do that, I retreat by writing. I retreat by taking quiet time for myself. I try to do it at least twice a month. Sometimes it only works out to once a month, or have what I call silent Sundays. I go to church. I stay in that sort of frame of mind, meaning quiet. I'm not on social media. I'm not online. I don't watch television. It's just quiet. I might play some inspirational podcasts or music or messaging, you know, but stay in a real positive space. Because there are so many people in your life, especially at certain stages of your life, where everybody is trying to make a withdrawal from your life. Everybody wants something. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you answer this question? Can you give me this? Oh my God, what is that? And not making deposits in you. So nobody's filling your tank back up.
Right.
So that's how I fill my tank back up. That, and try to figure out some way to monetize some idea that I had. I hear that. Those two things is what I try to do with myself.
I totally feel that.
Yes.
You have also been all over the country. You are rarely at home. You are here. I'm looking at your Instagram, and I'm like, she is gone again.
Oh yeah.
But you seem like you are enjoying like life to its fullest.
I am.
And that you have gotten to a place in your life where you are just enjoying, and that's the one thing that mattered. What got you there?
So I'll be really honest and transparent with you, because that's how you and I are. I am in a rut right now. I've been in a rut for probably about 16 or 18 months. Rut meaning I am now thinking about, you know, again, I'm 51. What's the next stage of my life going to be? What does that mean to me? Again, I'm hard on myself. I think, oh, I should have done X by this time. But I have to try to stay positive in that, because again, I know that I have a life that some people wish they could have. So it is not for me to be ungrateful, right? How dare me? You know, do I have the audacity to be ungrateful about anything? I can't, right? I can't. So I love what I do right now. I love being able to impact the way that business is done. Particularly in this country, with women business owners, and just seeing the growth of people around you, right? I love seeing other people grow into who they are, right? Even my friends, as we have these sort of chains of different friends and different circles, and everybody is growing, expanding, and that gives me life.
Yeah.
So I I think I am on the heaven side of purgatory right now with my little mind space that I was in. So I think I'm coming out on the upside as I leave out of this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. We're going to take a quick break.
All
This
right.
is the Conversations with Kai Mann show. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Elevation Nation Media Group, an entertainment agent for media coverage and access. We create and produce inspired development video and audio content such as films, short films, documentaries, talk shows, transformational reality shows, radio shows, podcasts, PSAs, commercials, video profiles, and video resumes. Why Elevation Nation Media Group? Because we elevate you by any means necessary. Contact us at www.elevationnationmedia.com.
Focus, the state or quality of having or producing clear definition. Focus One Entertainment is the premier videography company in the Midwest. We specialize in weddings, corporate events, documentaries, sporting events, and films. Regardless of the scope or budget, we approach every project the same way, by capturing and clearly defining your vision. Contact us at 313-444-3638 or www.focusoneEntertainment.com.
And we are back. This is the Conversations with Kai Mann show. I'm sitting here with Candace Waterman. You did something that I just thought was not only brave and courageous, but was authentic. And that was you talking about that you have been in a rut. A lot of us don't want to admit that we, are in spaces that are not the positive or not, where we really want to be. And I think sometimes that gets us in trouble. But you being in a rut for you probably means something that's different for a lot of us. It probably does. It probably does. So what, when you say a rut to you, what specifically does that mean for you? You as Candace Waterman, what does a rut mean for you?
So before I go into the rut, I think it is important to sort of set this in context. Mm-hmm. I believe life is like a heart monitor. I was in the medical field for 19 years of my life before being where I am now for the last almost 14 years. And so that a heart monitor beats up and down, right? Mm-hmm. Do-do-do-do. If you are all anything, you flatline. Right. So that means death. Right? Mm-hmm. So I take that heart monitor concept and equate it to my life that I'm living. You can't be all happy all the time. You're not growing if you're all happy all the time. I really believe that, right? So with every up, there's downs. Now we have our ups that last longer and then we have downs. It's just this sort of cycle of life. But the down or the rut for me is honestly about what am I going to do in the next phase of my life, and to be honest with you, battling being I think somewhat afraid of success. Like some people are afraid of not being successful. I think there's a part of me that's afraid of being successful because there's to whom much is given, much is expected. And so I think, oh my goodness, what else can I give? Because I try to give 110% now. So I have been battling the sort of personal side of being my creative self. In the process of writing 2 books, I have a project manager that has been on my back like, look, you've been talking about it for 4 or 5 years. This is the time you need to do it. And then also another company. And so I'm really afraid, to be honest with you, because doing that, and if it's successful, may change my life in a way that maybe I'm not ready for. So that's a little bit unnerving for me, but excitedly unnerving, right? So I get excited about it, but I'm like, okay, I'm good right here where I am, coasting along. But then I want to challenge myself, and I have something to challenge myself with, but I'm afraid for that. So it's just like all of these crazy thoughts that go into formulating where you're going next. And getting out of your own head so you can listen to the voice and be on the path, in particular for me, that God wants me to be on.
Right.
Because at 51, I've made so many mistakes in my life that I've learned from. Thankfully, none of them were so detrimental that I couldn't get myself back together, right? But I think anybody who's been around for 50 years, they should have some mistakes in their life, or either life has been living them, they haven't been living life, right? So being in a rut for me is just trying to figure out what is the next thing, what's going to make me happy, what's going to cause me to wake up every day with an excitement and zeal that I've been used to, right? So you're probably right. My rut is probably different than somebody else's rut because I challenge myself. Right. I believe you're only as good as the last thing that you did.
Right. If you were to look back at your life, from your 20s up into now, and we all make mistakes. We all do. But what is the one thing that you can say to yourself about a mistake that maybe you made back then that you can look at now and say it wasn't really that bad, and how that probably that mistake or whatever it was the road to where you are now? What would you say to yourself when you're going through?
Great question. So maybe two. The first mistake is not understanding the gift in being raised by my mom, right? By my great grandma. I looked at that for a very long time, not as the gift of being raised by her, but as the abandonment of my mother and father being gone. But it was a gift, right? And so it was my mistake for not being totally present in the moment, but I was a kid, so what was I supposed to do about that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's one. The other, I think, I probably think I don't spend enough time with my family like I should. But now as we're older, we treasure the moments together. So it's quality over quantity. But at that time, when I probably thought I should have been spending time, I was chasing my dreams.
Right.
So then I'm very unapologetic about being Candace.
Right.
I'm very unapologetic.
I hear you. I am the same exact way.
Sorry, this is what you got. And actually not so, sorry, not sorry, right? I'm like, yeah, no, this is who you get.
Right.
No. I came into this year, I come into each year with a couple of words that sort of define what I'm doing. But this year was my year of no. And you know how Shonda Rhimes had her book, her year of yes?
Right.
Well, I'm the opposite. Because I was saying yes so much, I was depleted, right? And so I had to think, how many of those yeses could I really have said no about, and that would have had the same exact ending, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So this year, I'm like, do you want to do such and so? No. Candace, what about this project? No. Candace, you want to go on this date with such and so? No. Candace, do you want to try this thing? No.
And how wonderful has that been?
It's been good. Because guess what? I'm then not sitting somewhere thinking to myself, I should be somewhere else. I am not taking on a project or taking something on that I'm not giving my whole self to.
Right.
Because I believe in that too. Whatever I do, I want to give my whole self to the it.
Right.
Knowing that during that time, there are going to be days I can't give myself to the it. But in its holistic form, but if I come in at a deficit,
right,
then I'm not giving you a quality product.
Right, that's true.
So I had to say no. And I think with the world of technology, and we always having to be on all the time and accessible all the time, and you've got email and 14 social media handles and text messaging and the cell phone and the office phone. Some days it's just no. Did you see my email? No, the one that you just sent 14 seconds ago before you texted me, and this. No, and I mean that in my personal and professional life, right? Because it can be that. And I think as people, particularly as leaders, we have to know when to deposit into others, but when we know we need to be deposited into as well.
Yes.
And allowing myself to sit back and do that.
Exactly. I think that is hard for a lot of leaders.
Oh, God, yeah,
it is hard for a lot of leaders, and a lot of people have not. We want to always make sure that we're depositing into other people, and we do so at the cost of ourselves, at the cost of our health. A lot of times we don't, think to put our own oxygen mask on first and just deal with us for a moment.
Exactly.
Has there been any point in time of your life where you have given so much that you were not only just depleted, but you just could not do anything else?
Yeah, I'll be honest and tell you, last year was one of the toughest and best years of my life professionally. I had a huge project that I was working on. I had been working on it for probably 24 months or so, conceptualizing it for probably 2 years before that, right? So if you just think about 4 years of putting something together, changing your mind, doing something, and then working for the better course of a year, 16.5-hour days, 6 days a week, having to be the expert at that thing that challenges you, that's outside of your normal space. I went on vacation, and I can tell you, for 48 hours, literally woke up, went and showered, put on new PJs, and got back in the bed. Sitting open the blind so I can see the beach, because I am a beach and water person, right? So I could see it, but I had no energy to walk down to it.
Wow.
And I was totally, if someone else would have said, Ken, we just need another week from you, I don't think I could have done that, to be honest with you. And that professional piece boiled over into personal too. My sister, who will watch this, will laugh, because she knows. She asked me, oh, can we join you on vacation this year? I said, no, I'm sorry, I can't.
Right.
But I knew that I couldn't, because I wouldn't have been a good vacation mate at that time. I needed to get me back together. And I came into 2017 like totally refreshed. Awesome. And it was for the best of everybody around me.
Awesome.
But yeah, totally.
In your state of saying no, has everybody been okay with it?
I think my way of saying no, I finesse it so well, they don't realize I said no. Because I say no. But give them some nuggets of wisdom to take on what they need to do. So they're like, does she say no? Or does she empower us? Or did she just say not yet? So yeah, no. I think people don't know. Cool. I'm being honest. I think people don't know that I've said no a lot for this year.
How amazing is that, though?
Yeah.
To be able to empower people to say no, to be able to empower them and not really sure of, what the real final answer was, but know that they can go on and do whatever.
Yeah.
So that's great.
That's taking the E out, right? That's taking the big E out. Right. I am not the end all and be all to anything other than to Candace.
Right.
And even to that, I absolutely can't stand the word independent. Some people say, oh, I'm just so independent. Well, no. You're self-sufficient, but we are not independent. We're actually interdependent on everything around us. So from that perspective, I'm very self-sufficient, but I'm not independent. So because of that, I'm not the end-all be-all to anything. Wow. I'm just a vessel.
I know that's right. Love the way you look at that. When knowing that you're just the vessel, how often is it that being the vessel has caused you to expand not only your own life but the lives of others?
Well, I think more than I know. and more than I know, probably yourself too, right? Because we do what we do every day. And we're just going about what we do. We don't know who's watching us, what words of wisdom we've said, what words of wisdom we've said to somebody and they acted on that. I actually had someone who told me, we were talking about her business, and I just gave her some advice on what I think that, this might be a good thing to do. And just in a conversation, not in a meeting, just a conversation we were having. And lo and behold, she did it. She came back to me just this year in June, and she said, Ken, you said these two things to me, and I did it, and it has made an amazing impact. And my business has literally tripled in revenue, and I just didn't think about what I was doing from that perspective. And so that's just sort of what it is. You just don't know who you're pouring into and what your words mean to anyone at that particular time. So
wow. So why don't you tell us where we can reach you, what you're doing next, and how we can just, I guess, love on you and see what you're doing.
Well, first of all, I'm trying not to go crazy every day of the week. So we've got a little over 90 days left this year, or that amount of time. So I am trying to keep myself sane. I am clearly, you can follow me. I love following other people, but if you choose to follow me, I am on Instagram, Candice Chronicles on Instagram. I am on Facebook. It's just me, as I say, Candice Waterman. The same with Twitter. What can you follow me though? What am I going to be doing? Living my life to the fullest.
Wow.
Every day. Like I said, I am on the heaven side of purgatory on that rut, so you can see me getting out of that. I was very transparent a few weeks ago, probably now, and said that I have embarked again on the 100 Days of Happiness, where every day for 100 days you write down one thing that you're happy about. And that has really transformed my life about 5 years ago. And I felt that in this rut, I need to get back to that. So I'm doing that. And then I'm excited about a new venture that I have, which is super exciting. So probably around December 1st will be an official launch of this mindfulness company called Mindspeak. And so we are a conscious company that is about motivating people, inspiring them to live their best life now and to be a mindful leader, because all of us have leadership roles in our lives. So to be just that. So I'm excited about that company. That's what is invigorating me right now.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you came on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'm glad you made time in your schedule.
Oh,
God,
God,
you are
please.
Totally busy.
For you, anything.
Thank you.
I am sorry that it had to take me so long to get here.
Okay.
However, I believe that this was our time and this was our moment.
Yes, it was.
And I'm so proud of you. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
You are just, you've got this camera turned on me, but it needs to be turned back on you, because you have, over the last 20 years, just totally turned around what you do as well.
Thank you.
Best-selling author and having your talk show. I mean, this is amazing. You should be very proud of yourself.
I am.
Because I'm proud of you.
I am.
Thank you. You
Thank
should
you.
be.
I
So
am.
thank you for everything that you do for us and the way that you teach us to be who we are.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes.
This has been the Conversations with Mann show. Thank you and good night.